Mahjoob Zweiri. He's in Doha. He's the Professor of Contemporary Middle East Politics at Qatar University. Welcome to you again, Mahjoob. So the proposal's on the table. My first thought was 60 days, that's something Hamas has said all along. We don't want a temporary ceasefire. If we're going to stop fighting, let's make this a permanent peace. But I've also heard it suggested Hamas is in a tight spot now. It's really in a corner with all the people dying around. The pressure on it is immense. So how do you think Hamas is going to view this?
Well, Neil, both sides are under severe pressure. Netanyahu and his government under severe pressure because of ongoing pressure from Europe, in particular in these days. We have many statements in the last 24 hours that European leaders have fed up of what's happening in Gaza, and they feel the heat will come to their backyard soon. So they are pressuring the Israeli government. Hamas itself that has the pressure from its own people because the famine, the crisis, the humanitarian issue is of course, an urgent matter. But let's be clear on this. I think what Hamas is worried about is the fact that they will be returning to the war, and then basically there is no meaning of releasing those 10 hostages and then the 18 the dead bodies, and then what would be the outcome of this? So that what they will basically offer Netanyahu strategy a lot of support by approving or accepting this proposal. That is what Netanyahu wants. He wants this kind of ceasefires so he can release all hostages and then continue on the war on Gaza. That itself does not serve the interest of the Palestinians and does not serve Hamas itself as a body that's running Gaza now since 2007. So I think what's happening now is Gaza, Hamas is not in a good position, no doubt, but even the Israelis as well.
And I'd also like to ask you about the fact that we're seeing humanitarian aid now. It seems openly being weaponized because it's part of the proposal. If Hamas agrees, we'll actually send some aid in. So that's an open admission, isn't it? That the aid is being held back. It's being weaponized in breach of all international law.
That is absolutely a very dangerous point on the whole proposal, which basically puts the United States under the spot how the United States is legitimizing this weaponization of the aid. The United States should not allow this to be part of the proposal. The United States should pressure Israel to allow the aid to get into Gaza regardless this kind of deal. But let's be also clear on that. It will not be easy to get the aid into Gaza if the war goes on. How on earth people they can drive and get rice or sugar to the people if they are not safe, if there are no roads, no trucks, no fuel. So there are huge logistic things, and the key of that one is stopping the war, and the second then delegitimizing the Israeli approach of weaponizing the aid and the food for civilians. And that issues now, I think it is a great accusation to the United States how they approve this and how they defend this proposal, which basically weaponizing the aid itself, which is absolutely unethical. There is lack of moral on that.
And just going back to your first response, which is, Hamas. I mean, I remember when the first ceasefire was announced, and my first question was, what is to stop Israel when it gets all of the hostages back, just saying, well, we've got what we want, we're going to go back to killing people and claiming land, which is what we've wanted all along. And that still remains the concern, doesn't it? And I don't see how Hamas gets out of that situation.
I think Hamas relies on a major factor, which basically international community. On the top of that, the United States will end the war because there is a consequences on a regional and the global security and the stability. And that strategy approved to be right, because what you are hearing in the last 60 days or 90 days from the Europeans is increasing rapidly, which now they talk about recognizing a Palestinian state, and countries like the United Kingdom, France, Germany, they talk about Spain. That itself a real, I would say, a strong message to the Israeli government, which they don't want. So basically, there is, I would say, Hamas. If they lose the hostage card, they will be in a weak position. But also, they are looking at how Israeli itself Israel itself is weakened. Its position is weakened its position. Looking at the European statements and the criticism. So, having said that, we have to look at, there is no a strong defeat, and there is no, I would say, a decisive win, decisive also victory. And I think that is what we see now. Hamas cannot claim the defeat, the victory, but they cannot also deny there is some sort of defeat. Israeli also, they cannot claim the victory, but they can't recognize they also have defeated in many fronts, including 7th of October itself.
Mahjoob, thanks so much for giving us the benefit of your analysis. My guest, Mahjoob Zweiri, Professor at Qatar University.
Thank you.